Today is November 14th, 2017, World Diabetes Day. And my wife is a type 1 diabetic, has been for 8 years, I think now, going on 9, pretty much since we've been married. So I've been around her diabetes stuff a lot, of course, helped her deal with it and everything. And today, I thought in support of National Diabetes Day, I would be a diabetic for a day. I'm gonna be a type 1 diabetic for today. That's different from type 2. I'm not gonna explain it here, but look it up. They're totally different diseases. So I'm gonna be a type 1 diabetic today, and I'm gonna show you what we need to do that. First, we're gonna have to count everything, so that's what the calculator's for, because there's a lot of figuring, and I can't do it all in my brain. We have a couple different types of insulin that we'll use. This is Levemir, and this is what they call a long-acting insulin. So this sort of stabilizes the blood sugar over a long period of time. So she'll take 24 units of that, and you just dial it up. 23, 24, and you just jam it in your leg and hit the button, and that all goes into your leg or your stomach or wherever you decide to put it. This is Humalog, and this is fast-acting insulin. This is what you would use if your blood sugar is a little bit higher than it should be, kind of bring that down. Also, you use this to compensate for the meals you eat. So I'll figure that up now. So let's calculate this up here. So the cereal is 28 grams of carbs per serving. I think I had about 3 servings. So that's 84. So that's 84 carbs I'm compensating for there. And, oh, well, let's see, 84 plus, I think I had about 1 serving of milk, so that's another 12 carbs. So I have 96 carbs that I have to compensate for using the Humalog, and her ratio is 1 unit of insulin for every 5 carbs. So 96 divided by 5 equals 19 units of insulin. So that's easy enough, right? You just dial this up. 7, 18, 19. Okay, that's 19 units of insulin. But first, I have to check my blood sugar to see if I'm high or low, and if I need to adjust this. So first things first, get our test strip sort of staged. So we'll get that ready. Of course, we want to be safe and sterile, so we'll use an alcohol swab. And in order to prick my finger, I'm going to use this lancet. So kind of like cocking a shotgun. That's a cool thing to think about when you're going to poke a hole in your flesh. Stick it on your finger where you cleaned, and a little prick. And that's useless. We have to have a drop. This will not work. I drew blood. I pricked my finger and there's blood out there, but that will not work. I have to have a solid drop. So I'm gonna have to try this again. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm bleeding like a stuck pig now. Okay, so stick that in there, put some blood on there. It counts down. My blood sugar is 144. So it's a little bit high. So I cheated. I ate before I checked my sugar and everything. So that's probably why I'm a little high right now, because I poured my cereal and then I realized that I needed to do all the counting and all that stuff. So I didn't want my cereal to get soggy, so I cheated. And as a real diabetic, you can't do that. So I've already sort of failed, but anyway. All right, my sugar was at 144. I need to be below 95 for fasting. So I'm over that, so I need to figure this out. So I need to get from 144 to 144 to 95. That's 49. And I need to take 1 unit of insulin for every 15 that I'm over. So 49 divided by 15 is 3. So I need to take an extra 3 units of insulin. 1, 2, 3 to 22. And of course I'm not going to inject this and waste it, but now I need to inject this into my leg or my stomach or something like that. So that's what you would do next. Diabetic conundrum. I want to eat these 2 pieces of candy, but instead of just unwrapping these delicious morsels of happiness and popping them into my mouth, I have to find out how many dirty little nasty filthy carbohydrates are in each of these little morsels. So, is it worth it? Yes. Oh, he looks happy. What does this mean? The Hole Puncher. Congratulations, happy anniversary, Mr. Hole Puncher. Lindor milk chocolate truffle, 1 ball. Total carbs, 6 grams. All right, there's that one. Let's see here. Wait, are those? Holy cow, 28 grams. That can't be right. Oh, 6 roll, okay. 1 roll. 5 carbs, so I need to take insulin for 11 carbs for a tiny snack. So 5 is 2 carbs, 2 units. I can't take this. Focus! I can't. There we go. 2 units of insulin just for a tiny little snack. You're so worth it. Okay, so we are at our favorite little Chinese restaurant, Golden Garden. She has some egg drop soup, crispy noodles, crab rangoons, and we have some more food to come. But first, hopefully, 84. That's about right for fasting. I want to eat some of this food, but I can't yet because I just checked my sugar and I have to try to figure out some way to calculate this. There's not really like a nutrition menu, so we'll see. So this is an estimation. Wait, what? 1,100 carbs? There's no way. That's not right. Okay, that sounds okay. Serving size of 1.8 ounces. Sure, that's about 1.8 ounces. I'm gonna have about 4 of those. So that's 4 times 9, which is 36. Okay.
Chicken fried rice.
Thank you. Ingredients. I don't need to know how to make it. Nope, I'm stuck. Okay, a cup of fried rice.
You're 36
to 79. Great, thank you very much. 128. 4 plus, what was that, 79? Is not 5,056 divided by.
No, plus 79.
Plus, it's close enough. Plus 79 is 143 divided by 5. So 28.6 units of insulin. And now the food's cold and I can finally eat.
How many carbs is that?
I don't know.
Stick it in your mouth.
It's not worth it. So we just finished lunch at Golden Garden Chinese restaurant in Knoxville on Western Avenue. So if you're ever here in Knoxville, I highly recommend Golden Garden. Fantastic food. So we just finished our lunch and I completely forgot to account for the drink that I ordered. Ordered a Dr. Pepper, got a refill. So I would have been sky high had I taken insulin for what I'd calculated in the restaurant. By the way, that is assuming that the information that I got was correct, because this is just a little family Chinese restaurant. I was just Googling the type of food I was eating and hoping for the best. You know, a lot of fast food restaurants, they've got menus that have nutritional information, so that's pretty well sorted out. But if you eat at home a lot, or if you're eating food like this at a family-owned restaurant, Mexican restaurant, whatever, what are you really getting? You don't really know. And that brings me to another point. What happens if you order all this food and you take all this insulin and maybe the food's terrible and you decide not to finish it? Or you get full 2/3 of the way through and you don't finish your meal. Or maybe you get sick after your meal and you throw up all the food that you just ate. Well, you've injected insulin already, which, by the way, you need to inject insulin before a meal so that you can give the insulin time to act before the food starts raising your blood sugar. So you throw up your food and you have all this insulin in your body that you've already injected. So you have to find something to get on your stomach to keep your blood sugar from just skyrocketing. There's nothing worse than eating and having to shove food down your throat or force a drink down your throat when you don't want to eat or drink. I've been around this for a long time. She's been a diabetic for like 8-9 years. I've helped her with a lot of her ups and downs and counting carbs, and I've helped her when she's low get some food in her and stuff like that. And what we're doing, having to count all the carbs and keep track of everything, and I forgot the drink. Having to do all that is really blowing my mind, even as much as I've been around it. This is really eye-opening for me. And we're just halfway through the day. I had breakfast, I had lunch, and I had a little snack. So we'll see what happens the rest of the day, I guess. So it is now roughly an hour after I ate lunch. So it's time to check my sugar again. I forgot to do that this morning after breakfast. So, oops. I would be a terrible diabetic, I guess. So I'm gonna check my sugar now, and I believe after a meal it should be around 130-ish, up to 180 is, I guess, safe. So we'll see what happens. Let's see, we'll try this one again. Good. So I'm at 110, so my pancreas is still doing good. So it's pre-meal check time. Prick. Okay. 92. So that's pretty much exactly where I need to be. And I need to take about 25 units of insulin for my meal. I need to take about 45 units of insulin for my meal. So I'm not going to do that, of course, but that's what I would do if I was a real diabetic. I usually have an evening snack. I don't know if I will tonight because I don't know if I want to do this again. All right, this is my last act as a diabetic for a day. I have to check my nighttime blood sugar, and I have to take my nighttime dose of Levemir, which is the long acting. So this will stabilize my blood sugar in the evening so I don't go high during the night. So this is my last nighttime check. So, oh, come on. I have no blood left. Oh, no. Come back. 120, that's just about right. So, wait, what does it need to be? Okay, 120, that's just a little bit high. So I'm gonna take a couple of units of fast-acting insulin, and then Amanda takes 43 units of Levemir in one leg and 43 in the other. I'm very glad I don't have to do that. A lot of times when she does it, it'll leave like an egg-sized lump on her leg that's very uncomfortable. So that's my experience as a diabetic for a day. Well, it's over. My first day, and hopefully my only day of being a diabetic. If I was a real diabetic, there were a few times that I would have been in trouble because I forgot to take insulin for some things that I'd ordered, so that's not so great. But at the end of the day, what did I learn? First, my personal diet is not very diabetic friendly. Amanda does a great job of keeping her diet in check. She eats a lot of the healthy stuff, the things that she needs, and she stays away from a lot of the sugar. I do not. Another thing I think that I've learned today is that I'm a lot more conscious of what I eat when I have to account for everything. So every time that I eat something, I have to dial up some insulin for it. If I eat a piece of candy, I have to figure out how many carbs are in that, and I have to compensate for that. So it keeps me a lot more aware of what's going on. It takes a ton of brain power to keep track of what you're eating, what your blood sugar is, where your blood sugar's been, which direction it's going, whether you're going up or down, your stress level, your hormones, your activity level, all that affects your blood sugar. It's not just eat 10 carbs, 2 units of insulin. That would be easy enough. It's hard enough sometimes to find the carb count, but beyond that, let's say that you eat breakfast and it's 20 units of insulin. That's great. So if you're gonna eat breakfast and then go sit at your computer, that's 20 units of insulin. If you're gonna eat the same breakfast and then go walk around at a car show for 6 hours before you eat again, that's a different story. How do you compensate for that? That's where your personal experience comes in. But I know that Amanda deals with that a lot. I'll say this, it's totally different being a diabetic yourself. Amanda's been a diabetic for going on 9 years now, and I've been to a lot of her doctor's appointments. I've helped her in the middle of the night when she's going low. I've made her sandwiches, and I've gotten her drinks and stuff to get her blood sugar back up, and we've made adjustments to our lifestyle and our eating habits to accommodate that. It completely blew my mind how much goes into being a type 1 diabetic. And I've been around it for almost 9 years. When you're around something that much, you think you know it. You know what's going on, you know how to take care of it. But until you do it yourself, until I did it today myself, I did not have any clue how intense things got sometimes. And I had an easy day, and I didn't have to pay for any of my mistakes. My body took care of all of it by itself. If I had to pay for the mistakes I made today, I think it would have been a different story. Even though today I've done the counting carbs and I've been careful about I haven't really been that careful about what I've eaten, but I've counted carbs and I've checked my blood sugar and I've done the hour after check and I've done as much as I could to try to simulate this diabetic experience and make it as real as possible. I will never, even though I did all of that, I will never experience the lows, the muscle weakness, the fatigue, the blurred vision, the fogginess, the disorientation. I won't ever experience a lot of those side effects that come along with an autoimmune disease like type 1 diabetes. And let me say that type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease with no cure. It is not brought on by poor diet, lack of exercise, anything like that. Counting carbs is difficult. And it can be a very dangerous thing, because if you make one mistake, if you take too much insulin before you go to bed and you go to sleep, you don't wake up. That's terrifying. And for me, a takeaway from all this is how much one person has to deal with every single day of their life. Everything you put in your mouth, you have to think about. Everything that you do, you have to think about. Your activity level, stress, all that plays into your blood sugar level. It has been so enlightening for me to be a diabetic for a day.